someplace on. He issued this on the website. His question was, will Captain Myers get more retirement money because of the conversion from wage to salary? That's the first question.
The answer to that is, to the best of my knowledge, absolutely not. Because it's based on a 3-year average. And he'll probably make less money this year than he did last year. So the actual conversion going from an hourly to a salary won't impact his retirement. I'm not sure the word they use for it. But I don't think it will hardly impact it at all. But the New Hampshire retirement system could actually answer that question.
Next question.
The next question is, do we know when Captain Myers will be leaving?
No, he's put out an intent to retire. However, he has shared information with me about the general time frame, but he hasn't made a decision on that yet. But it will probably be by the end of the year.
Next question.
Do you know who's going to replace Captain Myers?
No, I don't at this time, but it will probably be an internal promotion to that position.
My last question is about the computer system. It's been said that it's complicated, and I guess the question would be, why is the computer system so complicated?
Well, that answer would require detailed development. I'd be glad to sit down with you at some point to discuss all the ramifications, but I can tell you that it has to do with the interoperability between several systems: radio, the police telecommunication systems, and each individual communication from each city and town that we service. And so in a nutshell, I would say that's a brief answer, but there's a lot to it.
Any further questions?
Yeah, just one last one. There was some issue about how you calculate his time doing the IT, and I just had a suggestion that you could use the security logs when he logs into the system, when he logs out of it, to get an accurate assessment of how he does his overtime for the IT. That's my last name.
Okay. I guess going along with, we don't know when he's going to retire, but if and when he does, I would hope that you would come back and see if we can add Cybertron to take care of your computer capabilities.
Yeah, I mean,
Maintenance.
his position and the backup for it has always been a fragile
Yeah.
situation, because we need redundant backup.
Right.
We are looking into every situation to include Cybertron.
Okay.
I'm very pleased with the information that I found out about them. So
Okay.
I will plan on having a preliminary idea of what we're going to do very shortly.
Okay. Yeah.
So what we're saying then is, when Lieutenant Myers retires, then we have to replace him with 2 people. Is that correct?
Well, yeah, I'm not sure if I would say 2 people.
Or one person and Cybertron,
yeah,
for example.
Yeah, maybe we can fill it in with a contract backup.
And my next question then would the person coming in to take his police job be salaried as he is now?
No, I mean, my preference from the law enforcement side is to keep it on an hourly basis, because it's consistent with what else is being done in the county, plus there are other valid reasons for it. Because I'm working him far more under a salary position than I would want to be paying him per hour.
All right.
And it gives kind of a false sense of what the need is. So my intent is not to have it as a salary position. That was uniquely tailored for him because of his skill sets, and I just don't see that out there right now.
The major portion of his job, though, is supervising, correct?
I would say that his full-time job, 40 hours, is definitely the hands-on police operations. He averaged approximately 70 hours over, 50 to 70 hours overtime a month. And that was almost entirely with the IT business. You know, not necessarily, plus there's a lot of overlap with it.
Mhm.
Because whenever he's doing the IT, it's definitely impacting our civil service or our law enforcement function, or the communications, mostly the communications. So it is difficult to do like a complete breakdown of minutes for IT and then minutes for other activities. But you can definitely ballpark it.
Mhm.
I mean, I am comfortable doing that.
Okay. Mr. Babson, you had your hand up?
Yeah, Sheriff, I asked a question about the car starters. Apparently Damon Steer asked you about the 2 remote car starters you put in, I don't know, the last 2 vehicles you bought or whatever. And your answer was for security reasons. My answer would be it was probably to warm up the car before you left home. And the question is, my question was, where does security come into a remote car starter? Keys and locking your car when you get out, and that better way?
To give you the brief explanation without going on with every feature of these car starters, yes, they will remotely start the car. And yes, they are authorized to use it. For instance, we call out a deputy at 4 in the morning to go from Ospey to Chatham. We're on the phone with him, he's in bed, he can turn on his car to start, to get that car prepared. It just cuts down the response time. But the primary reason is when we have persons in the car that we're transporting, people that are detained, taken from the court to the jail, the state prison, there's frequently an occasion where they're being left in the car momentarily, maybe for a few minutes, while something is happening outside the car, getting another prisoner. We leave the car on mostly because of the air conditioning. However, if that car is touched, it shuts down automatically. That's the primary reason for it's called car start, however, it's a remote safety
It'd be a car stopper,
feature.
too.
It'd be a car stopper too. The other common use is if a deputy is at an accident scene. He's out of the car and he may be 50 yards away from it. Well, it'd be very easy for somebody to jump in that car and take off. So the minute they touch it, it kills the engine. That's probably the most common use, that they're on the side of the road, the car's running, they're out of it. They put that car stopper, starter, it's worded wrong for these purposes.
Yeah.
And it's definitely a safety feature. I would say almost 100% of the time that is what it's used for.
Thank you.
Yeah, follow-up question? No?
No, thank you.
Mr. Albee?
I guess a couple of comments. First of all, the Myers IT paradigm that we created over the years has a lot of downsides. The primary one now is that he's the creator of that IT system that's in place, and now he's leaving. I think it would be a disservice to the county if you didn't allocate more of his time between now and his retirement to bring whoever is going to take over that IT situation up to speed, whether it's Cybertron or another employee. Because I think the bigger fall would be if after his retirement, we found a lot of contract money going his way in order to maintain a system that he created, all of which creates the illusion or the presence of bad government, if you will, where we create our own position that we take forward into the private sector.
I could be wrong, but I don't think we have any contracts, or he has any contracts for maintenance. He maintains them.
I appreciate that, but once he's retired,
Yeah.
Is he
if
gonna
he's
be
the
the
only
one
guy
to
that
do
knows
it?
how to.
I
keep the keys
agree.
on,
I agree with you,
I
yeah.
think we've got a bigger issue.
Yeah.
So I don't know that you can wait until he decides, or wait until after he's retired to start the system of
Yeah.
who's gonna operate the.
Be proactive.
Yeah. Yeah.
I agree with you
Okay.
on all points there.
Just to have some nice
agree.
segue.
Okay. This is not to put the sheriff on the spot answering questions, but these questions come up periodically, and we need to have you come in once in a while to hear what they are and try to answer them to the best of your ability. So, there are no further questions of the sheriff?
I'm certain that the sheriff is fully immersed in the business of being the sheriff, so any of our simple questions could be easily answered by him. He's done a really good job here today.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much, Sheriff.
Thank you.
County attorney, you're in here for a reason, I guess. I don't have you on the agenda, but
We do non-public with Jason Johnson.
yeah, I'll get to that.
Well, he's here with Jason.
Oh, is it's the two of you together for non-public? Okay.
Exchange, then.
All right, I would like to, I'd like to propose these policy changes by the commissioners. I think we've had enough time to look at those, and I'd like to get those approved if you wish to approve them. And the first policy change would be, one, department heads that overspend a line item by $1,000. Like the word anticipate in there.
Yeah.
So let me read it again.
Please.
Department heads that anticipate overspending a line item by $1,000 must be approved by the commissioners.
Must have.
The cost of an item within the line item cannot be spread over several line items to absorb the cost unless approved by the commissioners. Anybody, any comments on those?
Okay, just look at that one more time. Well, perhaps makes it more clearer.
Must have the item approved by the commissioners.
Isn't that what you're saying?
Yeah. Anticipate overspending a line item $1,000 must have the item approved by the commissioners. Okay, she wants to make that change. Must have the item approved by the commissioners, rather than must be. Okay,
So it would be,
a little better clarification. So the item, the policy then would read, department heads,
that anticipated.
department heads and elected officials. We keep adding this, but
Oh,
You
right,
change
right.
it again?
that's what it should be. Department heads
Exactly.
and elected officials.
Exactly. Glad you caught that.
Okay, department heads and elected officials that anticipate overspending a line item by $1,000 must have the item approved by the commissioners. Cost of an item within the line item cannot be spread over several line items to absorb the cost unless approved by the commissioners. In other words, if somebody's going to go out and buy a gun, they can take it out of the equipment, but they can't take it out of clothing expense or some other item within that budget. It has to come out of that line item. Okay?
Or get it approved by the commissioners.
Right. So do I hear a motion to approve that
I'll move,
policy for the commissioners?
I'll move to approve that policy.
Oh, so you do it one by one?
Yeah.
You don't do it as a whole?
Yeah. We do it one by one.
Oh, okay.